MEC Radio.
I like it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are having a wonderful day. Welcome to Mother's Delight on MEC Radio. My name is Kolade. And for those who don't know, Mother's Delight is a program where we tell you and give you tips about pregnancy, to tips about taking care of your babies, to even tips about teenagers, issues relating to teenagers and the solutions. And this program is proudly sponsored by Heavenly Kids and Teens Wear. And you can find our sponsors at Captain Cook Building, directly opposite First Bank, Alagbaka, Akure, Ondo State, Nigeria. And you can also follow our sponsors on social media at Heavenly Kids and Teens across Facebook and Instagram. Also, we are going right into this topic. For those listening to us, you can always watch us, our live stream, this live stream on Facebook at www.facebook.com/MEC Radio. Today, we are going to be talking about something that has been prevailing, especially in the African society, and that is female genital mutilation. I am not going to be talking about this alone I have in-house a registered nurse who is going to be talking about this program, this topic with us, and that is Nurse Olukoya, and she's going to be joining me after the break. But before we go on a break, I want to give our audiences a little insight on FGM, that is female genital mutilation. And what is female genital mutilation? Female genital mutilation is the cutting and the removal of the parts of the female genitalia. A lot of people, especially in Africa, a lot of people do this where when a child is like between the ages of like 4 to when a child is young, they take out some part of their genitalia, maybe because of different reasons. Some people will say it is a passage into womanhood. Some people will say it is part of their religion. Some people will give different reasons for this. But we are now going to be talking about the causes of this female genital mutilation and the effects it has on the female, and also possible solutions. So we're going to be going on a short break now, and when we come back, Nurse Olukoya is going to be joining us, and we're going to be discussing this topic to the best of our capacities. Please stay with us.
I'm here to introduce to you Heavenly Kids and Teens Wear Akure. I am Mrs. Fashionati. We are located at Captain Cook Building, directly opposite First Bank, Alagbaka, Akure. We stock stuffs from newborn, from pregnancy till teenage age. That means from 0 to 19 years. We have various stuffs what your baby can wear right from immediately you give birth to your baby till teenage age, from body suits, sleep suits, their outing wears, their singlets, pants. We have the shoes. We have a lot of beautiful stuffs. Lot of mouth-watering stuff that you can buy for your children here. Heavenly Kids, good-looking children are happy children.
Parents who know how to care for their kids begin to care right from when they are in the womb to the time of birth and throughout their teenage years. Such caring parents are passionate about what their kids and teenagers wear and how to make them look good at festive periods and always. Such lovely families are regularly found at Heavenly Kids and Teens Wears, shopping for their prenatal and postnatal needs, teenagers' wears and shoes, school bags, lunch bags, and lots more from the cities of Europe and America.
Mom, this place looks heavenly.
And such parents know that good-looking children are happy children.
This message is brought to you by Heavenly Kids and Teens Wears.
Just like a diamond, you shine from far away.
Welcome back. You're still watching and listening to Mother's Delight on Miek Radio, and I have already seated Nurse Olukoya.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Who is going to be talking about the topic female genital mutilation. And for those who didn't join us at the beginning, my name is Oluwadamilola Kolade, and you can always watch this live stream on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Miek Radio. We are going right into the topic. So we are going to talk about female genital mutilation. Will you give us yes, FGM, because it's very multi, so we're going to be calling
FGM.
it
Let's just shorten it to FGM. Yeah.
So what would you say is FGM? Will you give us like a definition?
You already defined it when we started the show. It's the removal of the female reproductive organ. There's some minor parts of the reproductive organ, and it's normally a tradition. Some people do it based on tradition, some people do it. Some people have lots of reasons doing it, but majorly it used to be done in those days. But the good part is the custom has reduced. This practice has reduced with the help of civilization and modernization. So then we have types of this FGM.
Okay.
So we have types. We have the first type, that's the removal of the clitoris. The clitoris is the most sensitive part of a female reproductive organ. The clitoris is the one that allows a woman to reach orgasm. It's the very, very sensitive part. So with the removal of the clitoris, a woman might not be able to be sexually satisfied because of this act, and it's a painful procedure. The removal, it's always some people use knife, some people use sort of blade or scissors, and mostly it's not sterilized. It's not a procedure mainly done in the hospital. Yes, they are mainly traditionally done at home and done in the traditional birth attendance places. So
we have, that's the first part.
Yes.
What of you said you have like some?
Yes, we have like 3 types. Okay, the second one is the first one I said is the partial or total removal of the clitoris. Then for the second type is the total removal of the clitoris and the labia minora. For the reproductive parts, let me just mention the 3 major parts of the external reproductive organ of the female. That's we have the clitoris, labia minora, labia majora. So the second type is the total or partial removal of the labia minora of the female. So it's as I said earlier, it's a painful thing, very, very painful, and it's not always done in an ideal setting. It's not like it's done in the hospital that a painkiller is given or any medication is given before the procedure.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the third one is called the infibulation. It's the total removal, and also there's a way they reposition the labia minora. They reposition it themselves. Yes. So it's always a painful thing. It's not a joke. It's mostly done between the age of 0 to 15 years. Some people do it in adulthood, but majorly it's done 0 to 15 years of age. That's when it's done for ladies or women.
Okay, the 3 types of FGM she has mentioned sounds very painful,
very, very
and
painful.
I have not even experienced that, and I'm starting to think of how a 2-3-year-old child will have to go through that kind of pain without maybe maybe any
painkiller or something
being given to that child. That sometimes will even lead to death if the bleeding is not properly stopped. Okay, so what would you say? You mentioned at the beginning that a lot of people do this because of tradition. It could be maybe rite of passage into womanhood.
Yes.
What would you say are some of the reasons why this, will I call it a diabolical act, is done? Because when you do this against the will of someone, It's not a good act.
Okay, the reasons are some people say it's as you said, that it's introduction into the womanhood stage. So they feel it's a normal right, like that has to be done for a lady or a teenager or a baby. So they feel it's a normal thing, so it has to be done. Once you're a female, it has to be done on you, because they feel they want to introduce you to the womanhood. Yes. And also for those olden days women, it's believed that it makes a woman less promiscuous. Yes, that once all those parts are cut, the clitoris, so definitely she won't have the sexual urge, she won't have the high libido for sex, so it curbs adultery. So they feel it's a form of reduction of adultery and fornication. So even when you're married, yes, even when you're married, they feel it will make you stick to your husband more, because they've cut those vital organs, and they feel now the sex thirst and hunger will reduce with this. Then some people feel it's tradition and it has to be done. It has to be done. It's a custom. They feel okay. Then they feel it's like it's the high society women, like if you've done it, that means you're a real woman. It's believed that once you do it, you are a real woman. So if you've not done it, you are less of a woman. That's what it's believed. So that's some of the causes why it's been done in those days.
Yeah, and I also read that it might be because of religion. Some people will say since the male is circumcised, the female should also. But
generally, for our religion, I don't think there's particularly a religion, yes, that really supports it. Yes, it's not really supported biblically. Quran, I don't think there's any standard place that says about it in any of this tradition, any of this religion, but probably the traditional belief.
I think if it was even supported, they wouldn't call it mutilation, because mutilation is a negative word.
Yes.
So if it was actually supported, it wouldn't be called mutilation. Yeah. So apart from this FGM being like a very, very big, they are actually abusing these women.
Yes.
Their rights.
Yes.
So apart from this being like an abuse on the female rights, because you cannot say that because you don't want someone to enjoy sex or you don't want someone to be promiscuous, you take out some organs. Why are they not doing it for the male? But then this is not a debate about who they should do it for
or not. Yeah.
So apart from this being like a very big abuse on the female rights, what other things are you going to say? Like, how risky is this? What would you say as the risk of female genital mutilation?
Okay, we have risk. We have implications of this. Okay, one of the risks is bleeding. During this procedure, the woman tends to lose a lot of blood during this procedure. So there's risk of bleeding. The woman can bleed to death, even till death. Some people can bleed to death due to this procedure, because it's done with a surgical. It's done with a knife or scissors or blade. It's not like it's sterilized. It's not like it's a new one they are doing. So some people bleed to death because of this. Then also the second one I would like to mention is infection. Some people have recurrent urinary infection because of this procedure that is done on them. Okay. They continually have urinary tract infection, which is not good for a woman, especially for you to be having recurrent UTI. It's not good because of the shortness of the female reproductive organ. So it's not good for a woman to constantly have urinary tract infection. Then also some women too, they develop cysts. They develop there's also this called keloid. Some people, once they have a wound, they develop a keloid. Swells. Yes, it's just a growth around a particular wound. So some people that their body is just like that, they develop keloid in their private parts. Do you know how it is having keloid in your private parts? It does not make you enjoy to make the sex. It does not make you enjoy it. It's like a form of like an hindrance. Yes. So even you feel somehow having that kind of figure there. Okay. Also, we have another risk. That's risk of HIV/AIDS, because
HIV/AIDS.
Yes, HIV/AIDS.
Wow.
Because it could be a long-term thing, long-term effect, because you know, those things are not sterilized.
Okay,
You know, it's if it's a surgical procedure, if it's a procedure done in the hospital, that okay, the instruments are sterilized. It's not like they use a new blade. You know, it's not all those old women that do it. So it's not like the instrument they are using, they are surgically sterilized or something, or they are bought, they are not even bought. So with all this, it can
lead to
HIV AIDS, yes.
Sure.
So that's one of the results. Then also for some people, the long-term effects, okay, sexual satisfaction. Some people can, some female will never reach orgasm because of it. Because once the clitoris is removed, the sexual satisfaction for a female is no longer there.
Okay. So before we continue, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the topic female genital mutilation. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is for boy, this is for girl, newborn babies from 0 to like 12-18 months. This is the sleeveless for boys. We also have for girls. This is immediately you get back to the baby. This is the section, the cross section of where to start from. The bodysuit, the sleeve suits, everything, the booties, everything, we have them. Everything, the blankets, the shawl, the baby warmer, we have the baby shawl, the baby nursing pillow. We have all the wares, beautiful stuffs. We have the baby mats that you can play with when you have your outing. We have all nice wares, beautiful stuffs. We have their feeder, we have their towel, we have their travel bassinet with baby bath, the outing wears, the church wear.
Parents who know how to care for their kids begin to care right from when they are in the womb to the time of birth and throughout their teenage years. Such caring parents are passionate about what their kids and teenagers wear and how to make them look good at festive periods and always. Such lovely families are regularly found at Heavenly Kids and Teens Wears, shopping for their prenatal and postnatal needs, teenagers wears and shoes, school bags, lunch bags, and lots more from the cities of Europe and America.
Mom, this place looks heavenly.
And such parents know that good-looking children are happy children.
This message is brought to you by Heavenly Kids and Teens Wears.
Just like a diamond, you shine from far away.
Welcome back. You're still watching and listening to Mother's Delight on MIEC Radio, and I have Nurse Olukoya on the seat with me, and my name is Oluwadamilola, and we're talking about female genital mutilation. It is actually female genital mutilation, not mutilization like I've been saying. So I apologize for that. It is female genital mutilation. So we were saying before we went on the break that you're mentioning some of the risk,
yes,
and then you were saying some of the long-term risk. So will you complete that before we move to something
okay else? We also have a long-term risk of painful menstruation. A woman is at risk of having a very painful menstruation. Then painful intercourse, sexual intercourse, because the clitoris has been cut off. So there's no pleasurable and sex is supposed to be pleasurable, especially in marriage. So once the clitoris has been cut off, it becomes a very painful, and because some of the genitalia have been cut off, yes, so this might cause pain during intercourse. So then also one of the long-term effects is also obstructed labor. Labor might be prolonged because of this, because the labia minor has been positioned, they repositioned it, so thereby it can cause prolonged labor. This prolonged labor can also thereby leading to some women having a cesarean section due to this procedure, because some women eventually might not be able to give birth, yes, through vagina, and might have to be sectioned, like cesarean section. Then some women too, because of this because of the cuts that has been given to them, the repositioning, they have to give them a very long cut during labor, a very deep one, to be for the passage of the baby, for the easy passage of the baby. Yes, they might have to extend, they might have to give them a generous episiotomy because of this effects, yes, because of the FGM that has been done on them.
Okay, so before we move to another
We also have other effects.
Okay.
The psychological effects.
Okay.
Do you know psychologically, for me, that psychological effect is worse, because psychologically, for that kind of thing, especially when it's done on
A child.
do you know the trauma alone, when the child remembers the pain, so it's not always an easy thing. Psychologically, the remembering of the process, when the baby remembers the whole process, it's not an easy thing. So psychological stress, the psychological pressure on the child is not an easy thing to erase. So it's one of the major effects.
And it
on
could
the-
actually even lead to depression.
Yes,
Because
depression.
there's no
yeah.
way someone will tell you, I did it for your own good, and then you remember the kind of pain that you
Pain.
went through, and then you agree that it's actually for your own good. There's no how you agree that that kind of mutilation was actually done for your own good. So you mentioned something before we talk about how ways forward from FGM, how it can be maybe stopped, because a lot of work has actually gone into stopping it completely in Africa, and that is from like WHO. But you mentioned something, and you were saying that even if some if they are doing this stuff traditionally, that's FGM, it is not the knife or the scissors is not sterilized.
Yes.
But if it's done in a hospital, the stuff will be sterilized. So are you actually saying that FGM can actually be done in the hospital?
Okay, from my research, it was done in the hospitals in some parts of the world, and also I heard in Nigeria that it was done at a particular point in time. But since my since I started this profession, yes, it's been scrapped from they don't do it again. It's been a scrap procedure. It's an old archaic thing. WHO has stopped it. So probably in some countries, in some parts of African countries, especially those that are still not civilized, it might still be done in the hospitals or even traditionally. Even in some parts in Nigeria, it's still done traditionally up till date. Though the WHO has really tried to make it phase out, but it's still being done in some parts of the country. Yeah.
So we hope that this message actually reaches the right people, and for them to be sensitized against FGM, because everything you are saying about FGM sounds painful.
Very, very painful.
And when you say that this is painful, that is painful, if everything concerning the topic in general is painful, that means it should be scrapped. So then we are talking about, that moves us to how the way forward from FGM. How can it be scrapped? What can be done to actually stop female genital mutilation in Africa and in the world in general?
Okay, the thing is, FGM, it's even you are infringing on someone's human rights. Yes, fundamental human rights, because it's not like they seek your consent. Even if you don't want to do it, they will do it for you, because it's believed that it's traditionally accepted. So you are even infringing on my rights, and you are saying that there's an health benefit or something, or you are saying that culturally it has to be done. So the thing is, you are infringing on, so it's an infringement on human rights, so it has to be stopped, because totally it has to be stopped. So ways that it can be stopped. We're trying to enlighten people. That's why we are choosing this topic, to tell the whole world, our viewers at home, it's an infringement on human rights. So it's not supposed. So you should know your rights as a female child, as a mother. You should know your rights. Even if your in-laws are saying that your female child has to go through this procedure, you should know your rights. It's your rights. It's your baby. It's not their baby. They didn't give birth to the child. So stand on your ground. They are infringing on your human rights, and you can take them to court. You can take them to the law enforcement agents. Anywhere you can drag them to it.
That's true.
Yes.
Because if we know our rights, nobody can actually step on that right and infringe on it. I agree with you on that.
Also, female enlightenment, as we said, it's also like the first the point. Female enlightenment. Females have been, as in the enlightenment of females, that okay, you know that this is wrong, this is wrong, so you should also know that it's wrong, that nobody should force you to do anything you are not supposed to do. Also, WHO has also made it try to make the publicity, and that's why it has really reduced. Thanks for WHO. They've made it known to plenty of the health people, and also like for the general public. Yes, for the general public, that is very wrong. And so that's why in most parts of the world now, it's been stopped. Just very few parts of the world that are still practicing this act.
FGM.
Yes.
Okay, so we know that most of the things that we have said now is that people, the public, as the health workers, the parents themselves, even the children, should know that FGM is an infringement on their rights,
Right,
and
yes.
it will even lead to their death if
Yes.
it's not properly taken care of.